So if you're watching this because you are experiencing burnout, I want to start by saying there is nothing wrong with you. Burnout doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean that you're lazy. It doesn't mean that you're bad at coping. I am a career coach and I've spoken to so many people who are experiencing burnout, and they tend to be super capable, conscientious, high performing people. Burnout isn't a sign that there is something wrong with you. Burnout is your system's way of trying to communicate to you that something needs to change. So in this video, I'm not going to be talking to you about why you got to this point. I'm not really going to be talking to you about why you are experiencing burnout. You've probably got a good idea of that yourself. This video is going to be talking to you about how to move forward in a way that feels realistic and doable. So one of the biggest misunderstandings about burnout is that you were just working too hard. And obviously that can be a big part of it, but burnout often is a sign that you've been working against yourself. So that could look like staying in a job that is out of alignment with your values. It could be being a people pleaser, taking on responsibility that isn't yours to take on, that you never signed up for. It could be staying in a job that looks good on paper, but actually you feel resentful and disconnected from it. So rather than staying in this place where we're working against ourselves, we want to be asking some different questions. So what are these questions? We want to be looking at what part of my day-to-day job or my day-to-day life is draining me the most. And this might not just be the busiest part, it's the part that emotionally is draining you the most. We want to be asking, what am I tolerating that I never used to tolerate? And a really great question to ask is, if this burnout had a message for me, what would it be trying to communicate? Now, often that message is around there being something that isn't sustainable anymore. But what is that something? Trying to get as clear as you can on what it is that needs to change is going to really help you to move out of burnout into a way of life that feels more workable, more doable, more you. So if you're in that place where everything just feels heavy and maybe you're feeling really overwhelmed, and maybe even trying to answer those questions that I just proposed to you, maybe that feels too much right now. And it's really normal. It's really normal to have this feeling of heaviness and being unsure, because what burnout does, it doesn't just exhaust you, it also narrows your options. It makes it feel like change is impossible because everything is too much, too overwhelming. You get stuck in that thinking of, I'm stuck and I don't know what to do differently. And I'm exhausted and I don't know how to snap out of it. And this isn't just something to snap out of. This isn't just something that we can go, okay, today I've decided that burnout isn't going to be something I'm experiencing anymore. If you're in that place where you're feeling overwhelmed, maybe what we need to do is start with some gentler questions. So maybe it's just thinking about, what are the things that I need to move away from? What are the tasks that I would happily never do again? What are the environments that I need to steer clear of? What are the behaviors that I need to avoid? What kind of management styles do I need to make sure I'm not putting myself in that position again? This is all about moving you to a place of healing, moving you towards a place where you feel more like you again, so that you are working in alignment with the things that you know make you tick. Now, I've just asked you a load of questions, and that might feel really heavy, because if you're experiencing burnout, there is often this sense of everything feels overwhelming and I just don't know, and decision making feels impossible, because actually burnout, it's not just exhausting, it can also narrow your thinking. And when you're stuck in that cycle of, I feel stuck and I don't know how to move forward, asking lots of questions to yourself or putting lots of pressure on yourself to know the answers can actually be really, really challenging. So let's put this in a slightly different way. What I'd love you to do in a moment is to pause this video and set a timer for 5 minutes. And I want you to think about the conditions that you need to rebuild. and to recover. So you literally grab your pen and paper, set a timer for 5 minutes, write down any tasks that spring to mind that feel draining, that you would very happily never touch again. Think about any environments that feel unsafe, that feel like places that you don't want to revisit again. Because it could be that you might want to start thinking about, is there a career change on the horizon? What changes need to happen now? And I'm saying that because that stuff might come up, but don't put pressure on yourself. Right now, we're not trying to fix anything. We're just trying to move towards rebuilding and recovering. So, what are those things that you want to move away from? And what are the things that are going to really help you in this next stage as you are starting to feel more you again, as you are moving out of burnout? What do you need more of? Do you need more flexibility? Do you need different boundaries? Do you need more autonomy? Do you need more creativity? Maybe you need more fun. Set that timer for 5 minutes, pause this video, and see what comes up. If 5 minutes feels too long, you have full permission to do a 2-minute timer, whatever feels helpful for you right now. So go and set that timer, pause this video, and I'll wait for you to come up with those answers. So I hope that's been helpful. I hope you've had some time to think about things that would help you to move towards feeling more you again, feeling less exhausted, having more energy, feeling ready to explore what could be next for you. Because burnout often causes us to think about changes that need to happen. Because often, like I said before, burnout is communicating that the way that we're living isn't sustainable. And often this does relate to work. And often these changes can mean leaving behind a previous version of ourselves that maybe wanted to please everybody in the room and maybe overworked themselves and maybe didn't have great boundaries. It'll be different for everybody. But it's all about thinking what needs to change so that we don't end up in this place again. So, if recovering from burnout involves stepping into a slightly different version of yourself, what I'd love you to do right now is to think practically about one small step that you can take that feels realistic, that feels doable, something that you can do in the next week that is going to help you move closer to that version of you that is making those changes so that you won't end up in this position again where you feel like change is impossible, where you feel like every decision is overwhelming. So thinking about what you've learned through doing the activities, the exercises that I've proposed in this video, what are some changes that you've identified need to happen? And what is one small thing that you can commit to doing in the next week? So it could be speaking to somebody neutral about what's going on for you. It could be starting to think about what options could be possible for you going forwards. It could be having a conversation with your boss, your manager. One small thing that you can do that feels realistic, that feels important for you as you start to make those small shifts towards the life that you actually want to be living again. So, like I said before, burnout is often communicating that something needs to change. And this is the work that I do with my career coaching clients. When they've realized that something needs to change in their career, I help them make sense of what's happened so far in their career and help them get really clear on what they want to do next. So, if you'd like to have a chat about what's been going on and maybe start thinking about what changes you might want to make in terms of your work, I'll pop the link below to schedule a free call with me. And I'd love to chat with you about what's been going on and see how I might be able to help. And if you're not ready for that yet, I really hope this video has been helpful in terms of giving yourself permission to pause and reflect and think about what might need to happen to put you into a place where you feel more you again.